You got this.
Good morning, everybody, and today we're here for a super exciting session to celebrate the inspirational women within the hairdressing community for International Women's Day, supported by Matrix. So happy International Women's Day, everybody. For more information about Matrix, you can go to matrixhaircare.co.uk, and I'm super excited that we are going to be speaking to three incredible girl bosses this morning within the hairdressing industry. We have Lisa Farrall, Rosie Briscoe and Michelle Summer-Davis, and we're going to be finding out what inspires them and discussing all things hair, business, the importance of inclusivity, and of course International Women's Day. So happy International Women's Day, everybody.
Yay.
Yeah. Woo, woo.
Yeah. It's a great way to start a Monday morning, isn't it?
Right.
And I guess, should we maybe start with kind of each of you telling us why you decided to become a hairdresser? And maybe if you would like to kick off with that for us, Rosie.
Well, I've told a few stories. I've told this story a few times. It was totally accidentally. I kind of fell into hairdressing. I met a hairdresser that basically explained that it wasn't the job I'd always thought it was. He thought that I would be a good hairdresser because I like chatting and I'm very creative. And I think up until that point, I'd thought of it as a bit of a, I don't know, I didn't think of it as the type of job that it actually is. I thought it was quite a girly job and that you'd just be, doing hair all day. And I wasn't a very girly girl. I didn't like do my hair or nails. But when I met this guy, he kind of explained the creative side and the artistry behind it and took me into a salon. And I did the usual route. I went to college 1 day a week. I trained. He taught me everything he could. And then I progressed through a few different salons and got training from a few different hairdressers. And I've been really lucky to assist with lots of people, and I've worked with Matrix for a good while and I've had lots of opportunities. But yeah, it wasn't the job that I planned on having. And it was definitely falling into it as opposed to a planned career. But I'm hugely glad that I did.
Amazing. And Michelle, was it a similar story for you, or did you always plan to be a hairdresser? How did you get into the industry, and what are you up to these days?
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be a hairdresser from probably the age of 4, really. I'm sure we all remember having that girls' world, and I absolutely loved just playing with hair. At the age of 15, I left school and I was lucky enough to get myself an apprenticeship. It was about 15 miles away from my hometown, so I used to travel on a bus in the morning, and it was the place to be, really. The training there was just second to none. It was an Italian family. And I was just lucky to have all that. I was there for about 4 years, really, and I just loved it. The training was all about being in the men's section first. We were lucky enough to have an RAF barracks based in Pembrokeshire, where we had the USA Royal Air Force Navy over there. They were there probably for the most of my career, being in that apprenticeship for 4 years in my base salon I was in. And I was lucky enough to work with all types of hair. So back then, over 30 years ago, I was lucky to learn all about different types of hair. We worked in the men's side of it first, and then we went into the ladies section. Did about 4 years, and then I did do a bit of freelance work then for about 8 months before going into having my salon, which 28 years later, this is where I am today.
Amazing. We're super thrilled to have you with us today. And last but by no means least, we've got the amazing Lisa, who obviously you're an expert with working with different hair types, aren't you, Lisa? So do you want to maybe tell us about how you got into the hairdressing industry and where you are now with your career?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I started hairdressing when I was about 13. So I was from a small little town in Derbyshire, wanted to earn a little bit of pocket money so I could go to the park with my mates on a Friday night. And I kind of just fell into it. Education and school didn't really know what to do with me. I was seen as a bit disruptive. But really, I was just creative. And the hair salon saw that inside of me. And they were like, okay, we're going to nurture this. I wanted to be a tattoo artist. And I found it really hard to kind of venture into that world. And yeah, hairdressing kind of raised me my career wise and made me who I am. It showed me that I can be creative. it showed me where to put my creative juices, as you will. And yeah, so from sort of 13, I remember people coming into the salon and being turned away because we don't do your hair. And that's kind of where it all started, really. And it wasn't from anyone being nasty or mean. It was just because people didn't have the education to do all different hair textures and all different hair types. So that's kind of where the fire started burning in my belly, really. And I started from there. So the rest is history, as they say.
Oh, most definitely, Lisa. Maybe it might be nice for you to tell us a little bit about how Matrix has supported you on this journey that you've been on.
Yeah, I mean, with Matrix, I'm coming into my second year now as their UK and Ireland ambassador. And when I think about Matrix, I think about inclusivity, how they really pioneer and they champion people to be individual. And they've really supported me. I've worked with different brands before, but they've really supported me in being unapologetically, authentically me. So when it comes to, you know, education, or when we're doing talks, or when we're speaking about Matrix, they really champion everyone from every walk of life. And they, when I came in, you know, I'm a bit loud, I'm a bit out there, I, you know, work with celebrities, do education, do all of this, and they were like, we don't want to shrink you, we don't want to put you in a box, we don't want to make you put on a suit, we want you to be you, and we want you to, you know, be a voice and help with the hairdressers. And that's what really attracted me to Matrix. For the first time, I found a company and a brand that I felt like I fitted in with, for being me, not because I had to, like, you know, put on a suit and go, okay, I'm going to let them know the real me in a couple of weeks to see if they can handle it. Like, they took it on straight away. So Matrix for me is the number one for embracing all textures, all ethnicities, all hair types. And I'm really, really lucky and proud to be part of that brand.
Amazing. And Michelle and Rosie, has that been a similar experience for you with your Matrix journey? What's your Matrix journey been like?
Yeah, I mean, I had the business for the first 10 years, dipping in and out of different brands, and I started to lose the passion for it. I started shrinking, I wasn't getting creative, I didn't know a direction of where I wanted to go. And then my rep jumped ships from one brand into Matrix. And then it just all changed from there. I decided then to take the brand on in the salon. And then I was invited to join the education team. And 18 years later, I'm part of that education team, and they are, well, my business is a living proof of it, really, to be fair, because everything that they've implemented into me, all of the training, the coaching, the mentoring, I've implemented that into my business, and it really has spun around, really, and grown me as a person, as a hairdresser, but all my passion out as well for it again. But the support, I think we can all agree on that. The support is just second to none.
I think it's important as well with, I know we were talking about this, Michelle, the other day. Matrix as a brand, we both have lots and lots of support from them, even though our businesses are hugely different. So I'm newly a freelancer, and I know with a lot of brands, freelancers kind of often feel, rightly or wrongly, that, you know, we get forgotten. And the great thing is that Matrix are really pushing that it's education for everyone. And I think that's something that us guys as educators are really passionate about, but also as business owners. I'm, like I say, newly self-employed, but we've got all sorts of things available to us, and Matrix have set up like a private Facebook group especially for freelancers, with support for them, and help to kind of push them in the right direction for education. And I think that's a huge thing, not just as educators, but also, you know, different business models getting that support.
100%.
Yeah, and we've now got about 200 of those hairdressers that have joined at just under 2 weeks, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, because as a freelancer and as an independent, you often, like Rosie said, you feel forgotten.
Yeah.
You feel like, oh, I can't retail to my clients, I can't, you know, do all of these training courses, and, you know, but Matrix breaks that mold, and it's like, no, you can retail to your clients. We will support you as independents and freelancers as much as we support salons. And that's something I've not really heard about before. So yeah, great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think from a salon point of view as well, is that I felt lonely. I felt on my own. I didn't know how to manage a team. I didn't really know anything about business, if I'm honest. I think I just fluffed it through for 10 years. And then when Matrix came along, it was like, I just, like, take me under my wing. It was like one big cutch, we call it in Wales, cuddle around you. And it was like, yeah, come on, we'll just develop you. And I think, you know, as long as you're open to that, then they're there to help you. And that's definitely what's happened to my business.
And that,
I
like
love
we're all
that.
saying, the one thing when Rosie's talking, Michelle's talking, it just makes you say community. All these different walks of life, this big community of every single hairdresser out there, and I think that's amazing.
Definitely. And what's great and what's coming through is you're all so different, but it is the fact that you're all working together as part of that Matrix community. They're bringing you together effectively, which is incredible.
Like a family barbecue with Matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is. One big party. But we all share the same passion, and that's what makes us together, isn't it?
Bring on a good family barbecue, that's what I say.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a lot of love for you guys as well. Karen's saying you girls absolutely rock. Siobhan was loving the new Matrix logo, which we can see behind you there, Lisa. You're sporting that in your background. Oh, brilliant. And we've got someone tuning in from the US. Dina's tuning in. Nice to find this at 3 a.m. in the US when I can't get to sleep. So we've got people tuning in all over the world, which is fantastic. It's great to have you with us.
See you soon, ladies.
I hope you're watching with a nice glass of wine at 3 a.m. there, Dina.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And as we were saying, so you've all kind of got different backgrounds, but you've all been brought together by the Matrix community, which is incredible. But maybe each of you could kind of explain how you continually innovate and kind of shake things up, to give those tuning in a bit of advice on that. Do you want to kick off with that, Rosie?
I think one of the biggest shake-ups that's been happening globally, and not just in hairdressing, is obviously the whole lockdown, and everyone has had to change the way we look at things and the way we do things. And massively, the biggest innovation, I think, for years and years in hairdressing is how much digital has become a huge part in what we do. I think most hairdressers, were scared when we had to get appointment books from pen and paper onto a computer. So for us now to be able to do the education that we can do online, and to do things like this, and to connect and to have a bigger, wider community, I think that's the biggest push forward. And personally, within the salon, but also with Matrix as a brand, we're getting more and more of that, with more and more education being online, and more opportunities to kind of learn from each other this way. So I think that's one of the biggest ones for me. And then from more of a salon point of view, just with the new launch, the product, how it's going to be different, how much it's going to help save time. And I don't know if, obviously, these guys, Lisa and Michelle, know, but the new colour has got Bond in it, things like that. Breaking, making it easier for hairdressers like me buying stock to push forward and change things up and move forward. So yeah, I think there's lots of innovation coming in different areas.
Amazing. And maybe Michelle, you could just, Rosie sort of touched on that, the kind of the amazing, incredible changes that are happening within the Matrix brand and all of the new launches, etc. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just bright, it's fun, it's refreshing as well, isn't it? And I think, like Rosie said about lockdown, we've had to change our mindset on the way we educate and how we develop ourselves as well as educators. And, getting that from the appointment book onto computer, from doing a selfie to then talking into a camera, we've evolved so rapidly in the last 12 months. And I think, having this new facelift and, refreshing the existing ideas they've had as well, it's just great, because I think you can implement that into your own business as well, whether you refresh your logo, refresh your inside your salon, the outside. I think everything about Matrix is all about evolving and innovating and just, I don't know, just taking it to the next level all the time. It's like a roller coaster. You just got to keep going with it. It's just fantastic. It's exciting. But like I say, it's all about this colourful, fun brand that has got this massive community.
Brilliant. And do you want to add to that, anything to that, Lisa?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys kind of basically said it all in a tin, but I would just say, using the digital, creating content online, using the platforms that you have, also with the massive rebrand that Matrix has had, they're offering education out there, because it can be a little bit overwhelming, especially in lockdown. You have to think, I've got to do this, I've got to do all these things because I've got time now, and it can become quite overwhelming and you can burn out. So the good thing that Matrix has put into place there is that we've got education online, we've got a community online where we can speak to like-minded hairdressers, we can share our stresses, we can also celebrate the changes that are coming, but also we can sit back, not get dressed, sit in our pants and watch a little bit of education and feel like we're feeding our mind, and not having to, like, you know, think about everything that we've got to do for when the business is open, because it can be quite overwhelming. And to speak to other like-minded hairdressers, freelancers, independents about that, I think it's just about embracing everything that we are, and, you know, like Rosie touched on, speeding up when we're back in the salon and when we're back doing clients, because our time is going to be really precious. So we need to make sure that we're caring after ourselves as well as our clients and our guests.
Definitely, Lisa. And I would say to anyone tuning in to check out your social profile, Lisa, because you really come across as super fun and personable, and you're a great example of how to bring a brand to life on social media.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So our next question that I had for you ladies, and I'm super excited to hear what you're all going to say for this one, is who is your biggest female inspiration within the hairdressing industry? Who would like to go first with that?
Oh, wow.
I can go. I'm happy to go first.
Go for it, Rosie.
I'm a massive Sally Brooks fan, and there's a massive, there's a massive reason for it. Just, you know, the British Hairdressing Awards hadn't been won by a woman for a really long time, and I think she's flying the flag for that, which I think is, pretty amazing.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, Rosie. I seen Sally Brooks in London and she was just amazing. And ever since I seen her, she was just so inspiring. I just loved her work. But I just love her natural approach as well. She comes out and she's real, isn't she? So that's what I love about her personality.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's anonymous. Sally Brooks is a G. Like really love her. But if we go overseas as well, I really like Tabitha. So I think she's amazing, because I just feel like not only does she stand and do, you know, hair, but she also speaks to hairdressers about how they can improve on their business and help them to feel supported. I know we just did a major Synergy global event with Matrix, and she did a few boss lady talks on there, and it was just so inspiring. So I think there's just so many women out there. But yeah, Sally Brooks, Tabitha are definitely up there on my top two.
Oh, brilliant. Anyone tuning in, do tell us who your most inspirational women are within the hair industry. We'd love to hear it. And I'm sure some of you will say these three amazing ladies we've got on the live right now. Oh. Amazing. So what does it mean to be a woman within the hairdressing industry in 2021, would you say? Who wants to go first with that one?
I don't mind. I'll go first.
Go for it.
I think to be a woman is to be authentically, unapologetically yourself. Also know that you haven't got to follow the status quo of being mean to be a woman in power, because automatically if you're a boss, you're a boss, beep, or you're, you know, all of these words that can be thrown at you for having initiative, for having strength, and for having power, and for running your own business. So just know that you can be nice, you can run a good team, and you also are an inspiration to other women as well, whether that's freelancers, salon owners, session stylists. We're all on the same level playing ground. So I think to be a woman, to use your platform to bring inclusivity for everyone, and to go, do you know what? Although it's International Women's Day and we're talking about women, it's about being inclusive of everyone and to nurture everyone. And I think if anyone can do that, that's women.
I love that. Do you have anything to add to that, Michelle?
You just said that in a nutshell, Lisa.
That's your answer.
That was just said all for us. Yeah,
that was
brilliant.
Completely it.
Yeah.
Done.
You smashed it there, Lisa. Right?
Yeah,
everyone's in agreement
like
there.
A mic drop needs to happen right now. That sold.
It's the Spice Girls for me.
Oh, I mean, Karen has just said, you Matrix ladies are mine.
Oh, I do think though, since lockdown though as well, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I think, you know, being real to yourself and really finding out, you know, who you are, and like you say, being true to yourself as well, like yourself, you know, how other people see you, maybe not how you see yourself, but I think if you just love yourself, you can then be yourself, and you can just really push that industry even further because you're more confident in yourself to be able to help others.
And if you can't love yourself, how the hell you love anybody?
Most definitely.
Loving it.
I think just being truthful as well, like we're just sitting here and we can talk about, you know, are any of you still in your PJs from the waist down? Like, let's be real and let's be a little bit more open and honest. We haven't got to all be jazz hands all the time and make out we're living this perfect social media life, because things go wrong. Sometimes our budgets don't go right, or we get the stock order wrong, or we turn up and our hairdryer's broke, or we don't want to wear makeup one day. Like, it's all okay. And I think we need to express that and share that more, that we're all human and we all have flaws. And, you know, by embracing this and sharing it with other people, it makes everyone else feel that they can be, you know, even more unapologetically themselves. I think that's a good one.
The lockdown and the pandemic has definitely helped with that, hasn't it? Kind of people are just more open to being authentic and saying when they're having a bad day, and, you know, when the technology doesn't work and you can't get a live to happen, all that kind of stuff.
The first to say on social media, you know, like when you're posting stories like at the airport and you're going on a video shoot and it looks all exciting, but the reality is I've had like 2 hours sleep. I'm worried about my bag being lost on the aeroplane, and then I'm like stressing, I'm texting my mom, my part, like, do you know what I mean? Like, let's just be honest. I think that's really important for this community as well. And, you know, embracing all of our community so much.
Yeah, definitely. I think just show yourself out to the world and people will love you for it even more. I think, like you say, just being real, isn't it? And I think being more authentic as well is the top kick. So now we're out there online, digital, we have to be authentic because people can see through us otherwise if we're not, you know, and we can't keep that act up. So I think the more real we are and true to ourselves, the more people will just adhere to us and accept it, that, you know, oh God, they do, you know, mess up, you know. And I think that's what we all do. We all have these hiccups behind the scenes. It's the same, you know, when someone said you've got a small business, but if you had a bigger business, you've got the same problems, exactly the same. It's just, you know, dressing them in a different way.
And I think that's what's helped, this lockdown's helped. Like Rosie said, I felt alone as a freelancer, or Michelle can say, you know, I might be worried about these things within my salon because of lockdown. And by opening up and speaking out, that's when change comes. And that's when we can see that our freelancers need this. We can see that our salon owners need this. We can see that our community needs this. So by being open and putting ourselves out there, that's how change comes around. And, you know, Rosie's done it before. Now we've got this Facebook group, freelancers and independents. You know, by opening up and speaking out, change comes, and Matrix listens. I think that's like the key. Like, they listen to what the community needs. So I think if lockdown's done anything, it's done that.
Definitely. And I think, you know, when we talk about freelancers as well, but as a salon owner for the 10 years, I felt lonely. I didn't know how to run a business. And what Matrix offers is not only the education of training and developing myself, but also the business models that they have out there, you know, of how to run the business more efficient, how to go about managing your staff. And that for me was that's what I needed. That was imperative to me as a salon owner, because I did feel lonely just the same way as I did when I was freelance for 8 months. It can be, you know, quite daunting.
Definitely.
And I think that's amazing. But I think I just want to touch on that, because I think that's so good. Because I think as a salon owner, like, you'll be able to, you know, spread this message more. But as a salon owner, you can feel alone, and you can feel like you've got no one to ask for help, because you're having to like manage everybody. So to be able to have that support there, I think fantastic. Like you just saying that, I remember when I ran a salon and I was like, I just felt so alone because I felt like no one to talk to, and I had to be the strong face for everyone. So I think it's really amazing that you're sharing that story.
And also as well, Lisa, you know, as you touched on it earlier on, I was an academic in school. School wasn't really for me. So the quicker I could leave, the better. And to go into doing something creative with my hands and just whatever I could see, I could do. But the understanding I didn't have behind it. So to go out and educate and be able to put that across to them, I really didn't know how to do that. I could show them, but I didn't know how to educate. So that's what Matrix developed me into that way of educating and sharing my passion with others, but also just keeping it real as well. You know, I am like you. I have been there. I know what it feels like. So you know, if I can do it, anyone can do it. That's what I always say to everyone.
Slow clap for that.
Yeah. We've got some lovely comments coming through as well. So Mary has said amen to everything you guys have been saying, so she's in full agreement there. Carol has said be kind to yourself, which I think is what you guys are saying as well, aren't you? And Leanna said Matrix has given me my vibe back, which is incredible as well, isn't
Yes.
Right.
it? But what's been, and I guess we've touched on this quite a bit in that previous question, but what would you say, how can we break down the barriers, whether it's gender, because obviously it is International Women's Day, but not just gender, kind of the differences between everybody, to make sure everybody feels included and to help us all elevate one another?
Yeah. So I'll go.
Yeah, go for it.
Go, Lisa. Go, Lisa.
I just can't deal with the silence. I talk too much.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just education. It's all right going, you need to learn this, you need to learn that, you need to do this. But if you're going to talk the talk, you've got to walk the walk at the same time. So it's just about educating ourselves, making sure that we're creating a safe space for everybody. Like you said, not just women, not just them, she, whoever it is, we're creating a safe space for everyone to be able to come into the salon or come into, you know, our chair, or when we're going out to whoever. But all of that comes from educating ourselves. So just being able to admit, you know what, I need to brush up on this, or I need to brush up on there, because there's support out there for you to make sure that you can be inclusive of everybody. So yeah, if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk at the same time, and just use time.
That's something I've really taken from you, Lisa. When you were doing the Synergy event, I heard you saying about, you know, sometimes when you're at a certain level, it's a bit scary to admit that you need to do some more education, because you're meant to be the top person. You know, I'm an educator, or I'm a salon owner, or I've won awards, so I'm meant to be at this level. But there's no time to stop learning, and this is the best time now to put your hand up and say, do you know what, I am going to sit at home in my PJs and log on to a course and find out about something that I don't know about. And to make my business personally more kind of level, I have to have a bit more kind of self-belief. I think the reason I didn't want to charge the same price for men as I did for women was because I didn't think I was good enough at men. You know, there's barbers better than me. So go on a course, learn how to be better, and then raise your prices. And I think it's about having education and a bit of self-belief, and just, you know, being open to learning more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go on, Michelle.
Go on, it's all right. But, you know, talking about education as well, you know, we as Matrix, we've got 50% of our classes on L'Oreal Access are free. You know, I didn't have that all those years ago. I had to try and go and travel 3 hours to go to a course. Now I've got it at my hands. So when we've got a break and we're in the staff room, we can just jump on really quickly and just educate. We could have a colour correction in the afternoon. Right, okay, let's refresh ourselves. Jump on to any of the free education that's already on L'Oreal Access. If not, you've got Matrix website, you've got the Matrix Professional Haircare page, you've got loads of videos on there from the lives, from the artists and the education team that have got loads and packed full of information on any topic that you want to address. So I think, you know, that's what we're lucky as Matrix. We've got all of this to our fingertips now, whereas years ago we have to travel and we'd have to allocate that time out, and obviously couldn't afford to do it either as a small business. So, you know, that's what we have got now, and it's just fantastic.
There'd be a lot of praying to the colour fairy in the back room.
Yeah, and it was almost like, oh my God, how did I get that cool tone? I haven't got really a clue, really. Will I get it again? Probably not. You know, will I write it down? Probably not, and I'll forget. You know, it's all these things that we've all done it, haven't we? And we've all been there, and that's what makes us then be able to go to the next level. But I jump onto courses, whether it's an A to Z, I want to see what the other educators have got to deliver. There could be something on there that I've missed before, and they may turn around and say it in a different way, and I think, oh right, okay, I never looked at it like that. So that's why I think it's always really good for us to keep on to the education and keep jumping on. We're never too old or never too good to be able to learn more.
100%. And I think what Rosie touched on as well is like genderless pricing, because you can, you know, put yourself out there and, you know, educate yourself if you don't feel like you can charge more, but just look at how long the service takes you. Like I charge on, like with my business module, I charge on how long it takes me, not what I'm actually doing. I mean, I'm not saying that's what everyone should do, but that's how I try and make my prices genderless, because, you know, short haircut's a short haircut to me, and that's what I'm going to be charging you for. So yeah, I think, you know, like Michelle was saying, because everything is online, there's no more like, you know, you haven't got to pray to the colour fairy and go, oh my God, I hope it turns out. And it's breaking unhealthy patterns, because I know when I was coming up in the hair world, I would see an amazing colour in the salon and I'd go, how did you do that? And someone would be there and go like, figure it out, go figure it out. You know? And I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to try and figure it out. Like, I never figured it out, but really that's probably because they were praying to the contrary and they didn't know how they did it either. So
definitely.
Yeah, and the way people treat you, sometimes you have to think it's not about you, it's about what they're going through. How people treat you is all about what's going on in their lives and what they're doing. So I remember coming up and going, I never want to be that hairdresser, so I want to show everyone everything, I want to share my knowledge, I want to share with everyone. But actually, when I think about it now, she probably wanted to share with me, but she probably didn't know how. And I think that's what we have now. We've got the opportunity to be able to learn how to educate others and use our talents and use and to inspire others that we didn't have before. So yeah,
that's a really great point, Lisa. And actually, imposter syndrome and not feeling good enough, it affects everybody, doesn't it? Whether you're a freelancer, self-employed, a salon owner. But often people don't feel confident enough to say, I just don't feel like I know how to do something, or I don't feel good enough.
I think touching on that, for me, this Matrix Freelancers support on the Facebook page, there's certain things that because I'm a Matrix guest artist for Matrix, I feel like I shouldn't be asking, like I should know already. But thank God for that group this week. Just things like skin testing, you know, stuff like that. I can just go on there and I can find that support without having to even ask, which is brilliant. So if you are a bit nervous of, you know, you don't want to constantly ask your brand how to do things, what's great is that the information's up there without even needing to ask anyone.
Yeah, profile. Ask the questions that you don't ask with, you know, and nice.
Yeah, and we always say, don't we, Rosie? No questions are stupid questions. So now I just, you know, if I don't know it, I just ask it, and I just think, well, you know, if I'm supposed to know it, well, I don't know it, so I'm asking someone to know.
And everyone's probably been in the classroom with the Michelle, where you're sitting there and you don't want to put your hand up because you don't look like you don't know what you're doing, and Michelle will ask the question and you're like, I'm really glad she asked that.
Exactly. Everyone else in the room wanted to know the answer.
In school, Lisa, I was probably a little bit of a rebel in school. I probably didn't listen. I was in the back of the class and I'd slip down the chair and think, oh my God, I hope don't come near to me. The answer. So no.
You know, that can all come from, you know, maybe being shouted at school, or being made to feel small or silly or stupid. It all cultivates from one place. But I think by being able to break that and go, like Rosie said, like we spoke about synergy, it doesn't matter how many awards you've won or how many salons you've got or what you're doing in your career. It's still okay to say, I'm not sure how to do that, or I know that someone can do that better, so I'm going to seek out their help. Like that's all okay, because it can be quite daunting asking for help. And virtually now we can like hide behind a computer, jump in and out of room, see what's going on, not feel awkward for leaving
while wearing slippers.
But you just love those guys even more though, don't you? You know, you just love them for more, you know, because then it's not perfect, you know, that's fine, that's okay. We don't need to be perfect all the time. We just need to be real and be able to deliver education and give that passion to somebody else and help someone with that. But yeah, I do like seeing, you know, just this real authenticness from people, because it's just, oh, that's lovely. I get it. I relate to it.
Definitely. And actually, speaking of having that confidence to ask questions, lives are a great opportunity for that, aren't they? And we have had a question which tapped on to Rosie. You mentioned about skin testing, I think, in one of your answers. And someone has just asked, we're going off topic a little bit, but what is your policy regarding skin testing clients? And obviously this person's thought a live is an opportunity to quickly ask this question. So
I think Michelle should answer that one.
Well, is she part of Matrix? Then she can come onto the freelance group page. Is she a freelance hairdresser?
We don't know the ins and outs, I'm afraid. If you want to come back and tell us some more, you can.
With Matrix, we have a traffic light system. So we actually skin test 48 hours before any colour service. Now, if your client hasn't had a colour within 6 months, then yes, you need to go back in and skin test your client. So there's lots of it online you can find out.
The traffic light cards on that group, isn't it? I know that's been uploaded this week because it's been a hot
that's
topic.
on there. I think it's on the Facebook Matrix Professional Haircare page as well. So the information is out there for you as well to know.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That was off topic a little bit, but I thought she obviously wanted to take this opportunity to ask the question.
There's been so much floating about in the media at the moment with regards to skin tests and whatnot. So, you know, good for taking your shot and asking.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. That's what we're talking about, is having that confidence to be able to ask questions and share. And that leads very nicely to my next question, which is, what does community mean to each of you? Do you want to go first with that one, Michelle?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's just everyone coming together, it's having all those values, that uncomplicated, simple, easy approach. It's just having that family. We've always at Matrix always been this family, and I think with Synergy last week we had over 400 hairdressers globally come together in this big community of sharing all this passion that we all loved. And together we all get stronger from that. So yeah, community is really important to me, because I love being part of a team. I love being part of this community. I like to be able to have that family there to support me in every step of the way.
Brilliant. Does anyone else have anything to add to that, or is that pretty much summing it up for each of you?
I think for me, it's just not leaving anyone behind. That's the big thing. I know I keep kind of going to the freelance thing, but it's just not leaving anyone behind, whoever it is, whether it's a customer with a hair type or a person trying to educate themselves or training up. It's just taking everyone with you on the journey.
Yeah, and it's having every hairstyle to every level as well, you know, just welcoming everyone from all walks of life, from every level, whether you're just starting out or whether it could be someone like me, 30 years plus in the industry, still wanting to learn. You know, everyone is welcome.
Yeah, community to me is about being inclusive, be able to share everyone's knowledge, be able to share your weaknesses, your strengths to help others. And like, you know, the guy said, just making sure that no matter what path you've chose within hairdressing, this community is for you, and embracing you into the community. And that's what community should be. Not everyone is the same and doing the same thing. What makes an amazing community is our differences. So that gives us strength.
Woo! Definitely. Yeah. And it ties in, a lot of hands in the air during this session. It ties in perfectly actually with Matrix's mantra, which is that all hair is welcome. So why do you feel it's so important to ensure that everyone feels welcome within the hairdressing industry?
Who's going?
Yeah, well, I just think, I mean, when I was trained all those years ago, hair was hair. I didn't see it as anything different. You know, if I had Afro-Caribbean hair, I cut it and I got on with it. It wasn't a case of like, oh, I don't specialize in that hair, I can't do it. So I just saw hair as hair, and you know, anything was great. Looking at someone's hair that had more than I had on my head. But yeah, it's well, I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't see anything different. I just love having all this sort of difference of learning all these different types of hair as well. And I'd like to get back into that a little bit more, because when I left and went into the hair salon, I didn't really have the differences of that hair type coming through the door as much as I did when I had my training. So I'm looking forward to doing a bit more of that in the future.
Do you have anything to add to that one, Lisa?
Yeah, so I feel like just being able to embrace every hair type, every texture, I think so important. And I think it's the message that we should be delivering to every single hairdresser out there. And it's not about, like Michelle said, it's not about being able to say, I can't do your hair, or I'm not sure about that hair type. It's about treating hair, going back to basics and going back to what we was taught at college about the cortex, the cuticle, the science of hair, how hair's made up, refreshing that in our brain a little bit, and seeing hair as, you know, as a texture, as a piece of material that we're working with, and understanding the basics of it again, and, you know, fixing it, breaking it, and putting it all back together. And that's what learning about every single different type of hair texture, because someone shouldn't be walking in to your salon, to your space, wherever it is, and they shouldn't be turned away based on their hair texture, the color of their skin, their gender, nothing. And you know, I feel like as a community we can embrace this and we can educate ourselves, and we can really learn how to embrace everyone and create that safe space. And I think that's what Matrix does by embracing every single hair type, every human.
Brilliant. I think that sums it up. Did you have anything to say to that, Rosie? If they
again, I think Lisa killed it. I don't think there's anything I could possibly add.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Neva said she loves everything you've been saying. What an amazing community you will have at Matrix. And Clara said you never stop learning, whatever your age. So it's a breath of fresh air to have so much support for freelancers. I don't feel so alone anymore. Thank you. So lots of love here, which is amazing. We can't forget, obviously, it is International Women's Day, and Matrix as a brand is all about inclusivity for everyone, not just for women, not just for men, but for everybody, regardless of your gender. But what do you think the future looks like for women, as we are a panel of women within the industry, and what are you all most excited about?
I think it's probably quite a tricky time at the minute, because so many women hairdressers and business owners will be getting that scary bit ready to go back to work after lockdown, obviously in the UK anyway. I know there's been quite a lot of talk about how many women are going to be affected by what's happening, but I'm super excited to get back to work, and I think most people are. From like a woman's point of view, I've actually been on maternity leave a bit of the time of lockdown, and all entangled with kind of coming back to work. And I think to begin with all the pandemic and the lockdown, I was scared about going back to work. But I feel like we've ridden that wave, and we're getting back to that bit where, you know, the whole world has realized how important having your hair done is, and how much better we feel when we, you know, haven't got roots down here, and when we've, you know, had that bit of time to look after ourselves or to treat ourselves and go and have a nice experience. So I think for women at the minute, whether it's working in a salon and going back to working in a salon, or whether it's just going in and getting your hair done, I think we're all super excited about what's to come, and hopefully, you know, rebuilding our businesses up, you know, step by step.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Rosie, for that. And that's a great point actually about maternity leave, because for people that have been on maternity leave during these crazy times, it has been quite difficult, hasn't it, about having that support network?
It's been a really weird thing, and I think, you know, most people are scared about going back to work after maternity leave, because you've been away from doing stuff and you think, oh God, am I even going to remember how to do anything? But team that with also everyone being a bit panicked about what the future holds. But what's great is, you know, being given the products and the tools to get back to, you know, your job, and to be excited to get back to it is amazing. And with the new relaunch, I think that's like, I don't know about you guys, but it's made me like super excited. I just want to get my hands on the new tubes and get in the salon and get it on. But yeah, it's just super exciting.
It's almost like we can pretend that we've not been at work because we've been waiting for this relaunch.
Yeah, so that's why. We've just not been there because of the new product.
Of course, yeah. And once you get your hands on that hair again, it's going to be incredible, isn't it?
And I think we do worry about, have we forgotten things, and getting back into the flow, and we've been working with our own time, and we've been getting this different work-life balance, and, you know, have we forgot anything? And I think sometimes we forget that when we're doing clients and guests' hair, where as much as we can go, oh God, we're hairstylists, we're therapists, you know, everyone tells, like, it's a two-way thing, because we actually have so much communication with all these different people on a daily basis, and we sometimes, me definitely, I can speak for myself, is that was taken for granted a little bit, that when I was on shoots or when I was on shows and I would see all these different people and I'd be having a little gas with every single person, kind of took that for granted a little bit. And, you know, and then when you take it back to the salon and when you've got clients, you forget that that's probably, you know, if it is a mom or someone that works, that time that they've spent with you has maybe been a day's holiday, time away from their kids. That might have been the only excuse to get out of the house. Like, that's a full-on treat and an experience that they're coming to see you. So that's been taken away from them as well. So I think everyone's quite eager just to get kind of back into that flow and have that communication, have that human touch, because it's very personal, isn't it? Like, actually just touching someone. So yeah, I can't remember the last time I touched a stranger. So that's quite exciting.
Definitely. I think I can speak for many of hairdressers out there, you know, and salon owners. I am quite apprehensive about going back, and I think after the first lockdown, it was quite tough. Didn't know what to expect, and now we do know what to expect when we go back. And you know, we are going to have this rush over the next couple of months. And big roots and all of that. But like you say, Lisa, you know, having those clients coming in, you know, just having that time with you, just to have a chat as well. It's not just about colouring their roots or cutting their hair. It's more than that. You know, you have a relationship with your clients that is, like I said, it's a day out for them. It's dressing up, putting their makeup on and feeling amazing and feeling fantastic. And I think that's where I miss not working with my customers, because that's what my job is to make them feel fantastic leaving the salon. And that's not, you know, you can't get much better than that, can you? Just making them feel, you know, like a woman again. And you know, everyone wants to get rid of their roots, don't they? So looking forward to that.
Also being completely transparent with whoever you're working with, because we all work in very different sectors. We've got freelancers, salons. I work majority, you know, on you know, photo shoots and stuff. So it's about being completely transparent. So when I say client and guest, for me, my client might be a production team or a music artist. For you, it might be a client, or it might be your staff. So it's about being transparent with everyone, because I think what I will add to this, which is a little bit off topic, but it's just thinking about the structure and the way that you work, to make sure that you're looking after yourself, because we want to put everyone else first and fit everyone in, but it's really important that we think about your own well-being and your own mental health as well, and you don't burn out. So I think in this time, this run up, it's really good to just try and get yourself organized and see what your limitations are, and be transparent with yourself about what is and what isn't achievable, so that you're not, you know, burning out. I think that's really
great point.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's about working smarter, not harder now, isn't it? You know, not trying to ram everyone in and get as many haircuts in as possible. It's about giving the quality as well, but also looking after yourself, to have, you know, that time space as well for you, for everyone, to give that quality time to individuals without having that rush and pressure.
I think that leads on nicely to the exciting thing of the new products, because it's been designed to make it so we can work smarter and not harder. It's been designed so that all the services that you can kind of offer, you know, they've really looked into what we need, having bond in the colour, things like that, making things faster, but making it so that, not so that we can work, you know, do 20 more people in a day, to make it so that we can look after ourselves and work at a nicer pace. And I think the innovative kind of products that are coming through Matrix are just going to make life, you know, easier and better at the salon.
And I know if I was just tuning in now, I'd be running to see how I could join Matrix.
Hell yeah.
Well, if you go to the comments, you'll see we've got the website there, matrixhaircare.co.uk, if you want more information about the brand. And actually, we've had a question which I might say go to the website to answer, but if any of you ladies can answer it, feel free to do so. How much is the new tube, so we can sort our pricing out before going back? I don't know if you know the pricing offhand.
I think it's the wholesale.
Yeah.
The website.
Yeah, I think go have a look at matrixhaircare.co.uk. Yeah, that's probably your best bet with that one. And then someone else saying, can't wait to get my hands on them bright bowls and brushes, which is
honestly,
I know,
so excited.
Gonna go back, and the color bar is going to be revamped, you know, everything's just going to be like rainbows and, you know, bright colors. And
how happy are you going to have a day at work looking at all that?
Definitely.
Exactly, colourful, it makes you happy, doesn't it? It's bright, it's fun.
Bright colours make you feel better. Full stop.
Amazing. Well, I've got another great question for you. Everyone wants to support diversity and inclusion within the industry, within their clients in the salon. Do any of you have any tips or advice for how you can help to be more, inclusive and embrace diversity within the hair industry and within the salon environment?
I mean, I mean, I'll just jump straight in there. So I think it's really important that we acknowledge where we are and we create space and we don't take up space. I think that first off, that's really important, that we're creating space and we're not taking up space, but also to just make you more inclusive and you more texture neutral. It's about just educating yourself, educating your team, and then, you know, just reworking, you know, maybe your service menu to make sure that it's a little bit more inclusive, and just look at how we're wording things as well and how we're talking about hair and the words that we're using to make sure that it makes everyone feel comfortable. And you know, that's just like little tiny things that we can do, but looking at our pricing structure, looking at our service menu, and then looking at areas that we can educate ourselves on to make sure that we're creating, you know, a more inclusive space. That's what I would say.
Brilliant. Anyone anything to add to that one?
I think it's just having an offering for everyone, isn't it? And like Lisa said, just educating yourself to be able to give that offering. No one wants to come through the door and you don't want to turn around and say, no, I can't do your hair because I don't understand how to do it. You know, I want to be able to say, yeah, I want to know how to do that. If I don't know, I'll find it out, but I want to have as a client, because I learn from that. So definitely, I think is having that offering for anyone that walks through the doors, that you've got that in your area.
And it doesn't make you a bad hairdresser by saying I can't do your hair, because I know that when I do my courses and I teach and I talk about being able to say, oh, I can't do your hair type, it doesn't make you a bad person or a bad hairdresser. It just means that you, rather than taking a risk because you don't know how, which is, you know, that client will appreciate you not just doing it on a whim and not being able to understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I can do it.
Yeah.
Fully appreciate that you don't know how to do it right, and by saying I can't is the first step of saying I can. So by then saying, do you know what, I'm not sure how to do that technique, but I'm going to go away and learn it. If you give me your contact details, I'll let you know when I've educated myself on that. You know, just so it's just about showing that we're looking at learning, and we are looking to be able to be inclusive of everyone, because I just want to make it very clear that as much as I go on about texture and being texture neutral all the time, it's not about bashing hairdressers that can't do it. It's just about saying there are things out there, there is education out there that you can educate yourself in. So to create that safe space, rather than going, I can't do it, which is the first step of saying I can, let's just show you, you know, talk to people that come through and go, I don't want to take a risk, but I'm going to educate myself on that. So give me a number and then I'll give you a call, because I really don't want to feel awkward about this, and I really don't want to be turning you away, but you know, maybe I'll give you a treatment instead, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. And I think that's what makes you a better hairdresser as well, that you've admitted that you may not be able to know how to do it, but I'm willing to go and learn, because I would really love to be able to learn to do that better and be able to give you that service in my salon. So yeah, definitely.
That's a great point. And I guess with embracing education, you get rid of that fear factor as well. If someone is a bit too scared and just thinks, oh, I don't know how to do it, and kind of freaks out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was working in an Afro hair salon when I wanted to learn how to do different textured hairs, and I was in an old school Afro hair salon in Birmingham. I was given the first chair, no one would sit in my chair, but everyone was so embracing of me because I wanted to learn. And I think sometimes we forget that you can't ever, you know, look down on someone or speak bad of someone that's willing to learn and willing to put themselves out there. And I think that's what you need to remember. Only by doing something wrong can we correct ourselves and learn how to do it right. And I think just using this platform and us all talking openly is the first steps of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. More love in the room from all of our comments. And Ruth said this has been such a fun chat. Carol saying this has been fabulous. Thank you so much, ladies. Elaine said, love listening to you all. Francesca, amazing session. So much love for today's session. We have completely gone over time, which I knew we would do because there's so much to talk about. But I just want to wrap up with maybe each of you just sharing your kind of words of wisdom for those tuning in today on what is International Women's Day. Maybe kind of talking about any inspiration you could give to any young hairdressers, young female hairdressers in particular, for International Women's Day tuning in, and from what you've learned over the years, or how to encourage others to join the industry. Any sort of final words that you want to get across? Who wants to go first with that one?
I would say support each other. There's far too many, I think, people that want to pull somebody else down to get to the top. And I think if we raise each other up and support each other, whether as a brand or just as a community, whether that's in hairdressing or what, just support each other and raise each other up, and then we'll all be in a good place.
Definitely less criticizing, more positivity, and just really support each other whatever level we are, you know, just embrace everyone that wants to learn.
And I would just say, don't stop learning, be fearless, be unapologetically you, and don't take no for an answer. No just means not right now. You're on the right journey, you're where you need to be, but just keep on going, because you write your own destiny.
Believe in yourself.
Woo.
Yes.
Oh, mate, this has been incredible, ladies, and happy International Women's Day to each of you and to everybody that's been tuning in today. We've loved having you, and don't forget Matrix's mantra that everybody is welcome. It's not about what gender you are, what hair type you have. Everyone is always welcome. But exactly, and everyone who's been tuning in will have got that message across from you guys as well, that it's also about the education, isn't it, and making sure you train yourself so that you can ensure everyone is welcome within your salon, within your freelance business, and indeed within the hair industry. So fantastic so much, ladies. It's been brilliant, and everyone tuning in has absolutely loved it.
Yes, thank you very much.
We have to do some more of these, won't we?
Ladies, come, like, I'm busy.
I love it, Lisa.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Bye.